I'll do 4 today.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, if
Yeah,
you do
because
4,
8
then
will be a little confusing, then it'll be too much of content.
okay.
Yeah, but try to put the ones that do thoda sa similar work in like
Hmm.
one category.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense, makes sense. So Nirvan will join in sometime, but let's start. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, we'll start.
Yeah, yeah, let's start.
Okay, so I'll just share my screen. Is it is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I'll use Excel just because I
Hmm.
want to like switch instead of Notion. Although the same thing is there in Notion,
Hmm.
both the Concall and this. So
Right.
firstly, we'll begin with Jupiter Wagons. Now, Jupiter Wagons is a non-government company. They are mostly into manufacturing business of wagons and then disc brake systems, which they have like started with two different JVs. And then also recently they have gotten into EV pickups, which I'll go into later on.
Okay.
So if we see here, all these metrics, if we see the revenue, it has been increasing, and now again, we have to
Before you
consider.
shift to the revenue, I just wanted to, I mean,
Ah,
could you explain the products? Because you said there are a couple of things, right? Maybe you can use the
yeah.
uh, presentation that these companies provide. I can share you the link of it if you want.
Oh yeah, sure. You mean the they are yeah, one second. I'll just
Hmm. So
investor
basically,
present.
yeah. So what I want to understand is, like you
Ah,
said, like they're manufacturing something. So once you go to the revenue, it'll actually create context for me.
yeah, yeah. I'll just show the PPT and we can go a little bit into that. I think so. Nice. Okay, no, they don't have that much of.
So Jupiter
Ah,
wagons are mostly into, okay, railway wagons.
yeah, they mostly into wagons only. All those freight wagons, and they don't do passenger wagons, but all
Hmm.
the other ones,
Hmm. Hmm.
containers and all that stuff.
Okay, so these are those
Yeah,
coal.
no other components. It's only the bodies.
Okay, so these would be those wagons which carry coal, lumber,
Yeah,
and all of those things. Yeah, I also see those pictures in the
yeah.
oil containers and all of those things, right? Right.
Yeah, all those types of containers.
Hmm, interesting. And are there any competitors to Jupiter wagon, or they are the?
Yeah, all the ones which are making wagons, as in even Texmaco.
Hmm.
Actually, the last order they bagged was together from Railways, like
Hmm.
2,400 crores ka.
Acha,
So yeah, and then I think even yeah,
Titagar wagons. Okay. No.
Titagar wagons too.
So my question was, is there some sort of a what do you call it, differentiation between, say, Jupiter wagon versus Titagar wagon or Texmaco, or they do bid for the same type of orders and then whoever wins kind of.
Yeah, yeah, they are competing for the same orders actually.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay, so
or
other than that,
either the railway gives them like uh, the same order in parts. When there
all
are like
right,
12,000 wagons, they might give 3,000. That's what they did last time.
got it,
So they give 3,000 to Jupiter and I think 3,000 to Tex Marco.
got it. And then other than that, there's this CMS crossing. These are those rail gate crossing, is it?
Yeah, yeah, bridge crossings, I think so.
Okay. And commercial vehicle bodies and components, these are
That is
your trucks.
yeah, these are yeah trucks. Now recently they've done EV trucks also. That news had come out, which I mentioned in the con call. I'll go out into it later on.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool. And then containers, water containers, these are those ship wala, something
yeah.
which,
This one I'm not. That's what I was not sure about. I don't know if it's the railway containers or they mean like shipping containers.
see, the railway container also has those same shipping containers. I mean, like your
Yeah,
Concorde does now. They have some of these points where they create those containers. they put in all the material, they loaded it, and then they seal it
Ah,
off, and then they load it in the train, and then from the train it goes to whichever port it needs to go. So that way.
yeah. So this one would probably,
Okay, good.
let me just quickly see their previous one if they have anything mentioned more in detail. Ha, okay, this passenger. Okay, they do have passenger coaches.
Hmm.
They do have passenger coaches, and yeah, it's all
These are the things.
these.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
this
all
one
the
Hopper, BRN wagon. This one Fly
that's
Ash.
really
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, and is there another slide
yeah,
with? Okay, so they are also into
yeah.
gearing.
This is
So,
the JVs I was talking about.
hmm,
There's one
got it.
company called Daco. They
Hmm.
have got into a JV with them to produce brake systems, and also they became the L1 bidder for Stone India, which also does the same thing. These braking systems and other like engineering products for railways.
Okay, okay,
So
got
that
it,
will be like their new revenue stream.
got it. Hey, by the way, I'm not getting. I mean, this is where did you open this from? Annual report.
Yeah, documents, con calls, and the
Oh,
PPT.
I also opened the con call, but okay. Anyways, it's okay. Let it be.
And they have two here, I think so.
Yeah,
Previous ones.
that's
Yeah,
okay. That's
that's
okay.
all. That's all.
That's okay. I'll go through that later. Good.
Okay.
I mean, this gives me a clarity because I've grown up near railway
Yeah.
stations, so these
Oh,
kind of things I've
really?
seen. Yeah, I my house is Ichapur,
Close
so
by.
yeah,
I
it's just like I can see train just from my room. I mean, I can hear the
Wow.
announcement from the railway platform. So I've been seeing these kind of freight trains all through my life.
Okay.
All right.
You
Okay.
used to
Let's
the
move ahead.
noise too then.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of noise. Even my house shakes when the train is
Oh
passing.
God.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it's one of the oldest, I think, railway line. One of the oldest, not the
Oh
oldest.
wow. I did
Uh,
not know this, but wow.
it connects Kolkata to basically all the way. I think it goes all the way till Bangladesh, but it was originally made so that it could take, uh, equipments, materials, and all of these things from. There's a defense factory near my house.
Huh.
So
Oh, oh,
Ichapur
oh,
has a
okay.
defense area. It's just beside the Ganges.
Huh.
It's near this place called Barakpur. So Barakpur, Mangal Pandey.
Yeah, Mangal Pandey, yes.
So that's the place. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
born and brought up, like, yeah.
Wow.
So
Lots of
yeah, so
history.
that's one of the reason these rail lines were kind of set up at the
Set
start of the, I think, the initial phase of independence. And
independence.
yeah.
That's
Interesting.
wow.
Okay, anyways, go
Yes.
ahead. Now let's go to the
Let's go
numbers.
to, yeah, sure. So the revenue numbers we can see,
Hmm,
it's doing pretty good for a wagon manufacturing company because like we saw somewhat like a similar situation of RVNL. They are again very like high capital. They have high capital requirement as they do heavy manufacturing. So they have a good amount of expenses, like almost close to their revenue.
hmm,
So they managed to increase their revenue like highly in 21 and 22 because they got more orders. And initially, this company was Sepco or Sepco, I'm not sure it's how it's pronounced, but yeah.
hmm,
So I think in 2018, it merged and consolidated within Jupiter. And I'm not sure if it's 2018, but yeah. So even before that, if you read, there were like a lot of like threads about financial fraud with the old MD and all with
hmm.
Seepco before it merged in 2014, etc. But yeah, that is old news now. But yeah,
So there's a
so
new management right now.
yeah, this now it's completely new
So
because now
okay.
it's under Jupiter, right? So
Hmm,
Seepco is they say Seepco is non-existent now. Even this current management, they say Seepco is non-existent.
okay.
So yeah, and their gross margin is also pretty good, 20%. And then if you see the EBITDA, um, again, EBITDA margin and that question which was in my presentation again, why is the PAT not growing as much as EBITDA? Two reasons. One was the expenses reason, which I had explained, Tabi, expenses being very high. And the second reason is the if you see operating profit, I plotted a graph from 2017 to 2022 of the
Hmm,
interest expense, depreciation, and the operating profit. So we can see that in this case, it's not because the interest expense or the amortization cost is higher than the EBITDA, but instead PAT is low because it's mostly because of the expenses only.
Hmm.
So, and next we would move on to our debt. So, in debt, I actually had a doubt on Screener. The debt that they show us, is it like short term debt, or both, like long term and short term?
I think it's short-term debt. Just a
Mostly
second. Borrow. So
because
borrowings. You're talking about borrowings, right?
yeah, borrowings.
So borrowings. No. It has both. I mean, it has. If you expand it, it has long-term borrowing, short-term borrowing, lease, and other borrowings. If you see, so
No,
borrowing
because
is
yeah,
just a sec. Borrowing for 20 September 22. Okay, you're taking the entire financial year, right?
yeah.
For September 22, the borrowing is 234. For
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, for the financial year then, because in the con call up to, I think in the con call they mentioned their total one, like up till today. So
Hmm.
in that, I think it was around, let me just,
So whenever
yeah,
you're confused, go to the annual report because that's the source for even
uh,
screener.
yeah. So I think till now they have something around 5,000 lakhs. Matlab, how much is that? 522 crores,
Hmm.
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So, one second. Where's the number? I see
sorry. Yeah,
4225. So 42 crores.
sorry, 42 crores. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then this, and long term, I think 93 they're saying, right?
93. Yeah.
So total, okay. Okay,
No,
so
no.
they actually,
Sorry. Long term is 42, and the cash and
okay,
credit working capital is 93.
long term is
Yeah.
43.
So effectively, a lot of their money is actually stuck into working capital.
Yeah,
Almost double
because,
money is stuck into working capital.
yeah, because if we, when we go to cash flow also, you'll see that.
Yeah.
So,
And Nirvan
uh,
has also joined.
hello.
Hi, Shantanu. Hi, Gaurav.
Hi.
Sorry,
Hi.
I'm joining late.
No problem, Nirvan. So we started with Jupiter Wagons. I'm actually going very deep into it and asking these questions. I mean, what
Sure,
does technique and all?
sure.
So,
So, Gaurav, I will mostly be a passive listener. If I have a
mm,
question, I will pitch in. Otherwise, you guys continue as you were. Yeah.
sure, absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
So FL ratio is again like FL ratio, then we compare it to the industry average, etc. If you
Hmm,
see again Titagar and Texmaco, etc., 1.57 is a pretty good FL ratio there. It's
hmm,
comparatively lower when we take average. So then next would be net fixed asset turnover ratio and the asset turnover ratio, which tells us how they are utilizing their assets. So 2.6 again industry, I've compared all these with the industry averages for them,
hmm,
and then like their past 5 year how they've been performing. So FL ratio though has decreased, so which is a good sign. And then fixed asset turnover ratio, it has increased to 2.6, which is a good thing. They're utilizing their assets. And then if you see ROC is pretty much, it's, I mean, it's not bad, it's fine, but like, yeah, there are companies with 15-20% they're doing like
hmm.
sorry, which one is it? I think Texmaco itself. Yeah. And then cash flow, when we move on to cash flow, their working capital days are actually 78. So
70.
yeah, it's
Okay.
on screener. This
Hmm,
formula has some issue. I've still not been able to figure it out. So the correct number is 78,
right.
which is pretty good considering that they are a wagon manufacturing company. Rest of them have it all about 100 and 150, etc.
Hmm. Um,
So
Shantanu, one question. Do you know how do they get paid from the government? I mean, like, so in my point of view, what I expect,
they
because, yes.
uh, how they get, so they had mentioned somewhere, I think it was their annual report itself, that they get paid like in phases
Hmm,
from the time they accept the order to completion. So it's
hmm,
like 10%, um, in that is divided into, I think, 5 phases.
hmm,
So when they take up, they get 10%. and then in between they get like 10% until the end of it.
Right, right, right. Okay,
So yeah, it's the amount is kind of divided in phases.
got it. And also, I mean, do they have like inventory? I mean, say for example, since they are manufacturing wagon, they have manufactured a wagon, and then they store it for some time, after which
Yeah,
railway takes it
actually,
over.
this company, I think it was this, they had mentioned somewhere about the inventory. Yeah, so they have finished goods in work in progress of around 94 crores.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's a lot. So they have, and they must have their wagons and stuff in inventory then.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, got it. Yeah, sometimes because near Calcutta there's a car shed. Okay,
Huh.
so this Titagar wagon, they have a line from where they kind of send out these
Mm.
wagons, and then they go and sit in those car sheds. So it
Okay.
could also be possible that these wagons actually go and sit in the railway. I mean, in either these railway. What do you call it, warehouses, which is really
Yeah.
large actually, or they could also sit in Titagar wagon. However, they would be said that this already belongs to us, so the inventory is actually handed over, sort of. Anyways,
Mm.
yeah, please continue.
Yeah. Where was I? Yeah, so then I think, yeah, CFO EBITDA here actually, usually we see that the value should be one or greater than one, because that way we see if the whatever the profit is there, they are they able to like convert it into cash.
Hmm,
So when this value is usually less than one, that they're not successfully converting all their profits into cash.
hmm,
But this is like this you'll see in every company that has to do something with heavy manufacturing or the railways. They're mostly not converting all their profits into cash. So, and then, yeah, then they don't give out dividends. And interest coverage ratio, it should be greater than 4, which is here at 6.28. Promoter holding is also good, 74.6, and they've not pledged anything. And their credit rating is also actually good. And then, yeah, and then if you see the P ratio, I'd say it's a little overvalued when you compare it with the median of 10 years, 5 years, or 3 years.
hmm.
And then even the PB ratio tells us that. So all these ratios, if you see, it's basically telling us the company is right now a little bit overvalued
Right.
than what it should be actually valued at. Even the PEG ratio is, I think, 2.22, which is pretty high. Yeah, and then I'll just move on to the
Just one question. This order
yeah.
book size. So, what is the duration? So, for example, almost 5,000 crore,
Huh.
almost 6,000 crore of order. By what duration do they expect it to be delivered?
Yeah, so that they've said something. Okay, so that depends on their like wagon production
Hmm.
and how many months they have are supposed to deliver their orders. Like for the railways, they are mentioned like I think 39 months
Okay.
that they'll deliver in. So rest, I could not find anything as such where they have said when they plan to.
Okay. So
Uh,
each wagon costs around 48 lakhs, 48, 49 lakhs, right?
uh,
I calculated it from your order book, that one five eight
okay,
seven six.
okay, divided by okay,
Uh,
that way,
uh,
yes.
okay. And then from there also we can, I mean, do you also have the breakup of the different segments that they have? Like your wagon manufacturing being one. What are
Hmm.
the others? I mean, do the company report that, the breakup of their segments?
No, they only do wagon manufacturing, na? So, and the other one was the
Acha.
braking systems, which
Huh,
they've just
braking
gotten
CMS.
into. Yeah,
Okay.
so that that they too have just recently started.
Acha, acha.
Actually,
So,
one was they've received a approval. So this was in the quarter two FY23 report that they've just received the what do you say, like approval, and soon they will start with the braking systems too. And Stone
got it.
India, they've won the bid, so that will also take time.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Yeah. From this, I mean, you can actually make an estimate of how much do they make. I think they make 10 wagons a quarter, sort of. That's what I'm seeing. If each wagon
Okay.
costs, if each wagon at least around 10 to say, I mean, because their September revenue is 417.
Hmm.
And so if each wagon is like around 48, or maybe we consider them as, yeah, 40, because there would be some profit margin, 10%,
Yeah.
10 or 15%, I don't know. So 40. So that way they are able to kind of make like 10. No, not 10.
Thousand,
Sorry,
Gaurav.
sorry, sorry. 10,000.
Thousand,
1,000. Yeah.
1,000,
1,000.
1,000.
1,000.
Sorry. 1,000. Yeah. That's
So,
interesting.
so just chiming in here. So, nice calculation, Gaurav. So, Titagarh Wagons in its last call had actually given out a number of realization per wagon, and as per them, for the orders that they have in their hands, it's 36 lakhs for per wagon is
Okay.
realization for them. So, yeah, it's not very far away from what you calculated.
Hmm.
Yeah. And one more thing, Shantanu,
Huh.
when you finish this, just remember to go back to the CFO by EBITDA calculations. Okay. I think the 5-year average and 3-year average, there is some thing we need to look at. Okay. So
Okay. Yeah.
once you finish at the end, we'll just take a look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Okay. Yeah, let's go back to that. These were my questions. Also, regarding these electromobility and all, these are also
Ah,
very new ventures, just so that the company can diversify, sort of.
yeah. So this, when I was going through
Hmm.
their con call, they had mentioned that they are like planning to launch their first electric vehicle in the first quarter of next year. So then I was like, let me check. So there was this Auto Expo, uh,
23.
yeah, where they launched. I'll just try and open the article quickly.
This was the Bangalore Auto Expo, na? Or
I think so.
no, this is Delhi. This is Delhi.
Delhi? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Chen. Okay, wait. Yeah, so they've launched these
Yeah.
EV pickups kind of, and I
Oh,
think this
Log9
is
Material.
also.
Okay, I know the owner of Log9 Material. I know these
Hmm.
guys.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
really?
The ones, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I read this, and so I'd added that too because I think this will also be adding to their revenue stream now.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, Nirvan, Log9 Materials are basically a proxy to, I mean, they I mean, Amara Raja Battery has heavily invested in them,
Right, right.
and
I've heard of that.
they are kind of getting into various such chota companies, giving them charging and battery solutions.
Right.
And yeah.
So this is, I think, their subsidiary, Jupiter Wagons ka subsidiary, like
Hmm,
yeah, Jupiter Electric Mobility,
hmm.
and they are doing this line of work.
Good, good. This is very interesting. Okay. Yes, please carry on.
And other than that, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think I'll.
so
Hmm?
here also they mentioned that they in the quarter two of FY23 they had sent supplied more than 860 wagons to the Indian Railways.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, so they are kind of making like 800 wagons. Sorry, around 1,000 wagons, sort of.
Yeah, around 1,000. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe their production slowed down, Tabhi, for
No,
some reason.
because I think this is September, right? So no holidays. No,
Yeah,
next
this is
quarter.
September.
Yeah, the next quarter will have some holidays also.
So yeah, again the brake discs. They said that they have participated in tenders of around like 40,000 brake discs. So along with their JVs, they are probably trying to get orders, and also from the Indian Railways. So this is kind of their future plan. And then revenues, EBITDA all like grew in this quarter. All the numbers. Then if
Hmm.
you see margin guidance, then they said EBITDA they expect to grow, and because they consolidated with the original CEPCO,
Hmm.
they have lots of price advantages that they've gotten. And then JVs currently that they have invested in, like I said, they have not started doing anything with them. So they have invested around 1,000 crores in it, but currently they're in a loss of 31 crores. They've only spent, but They've not really started doing anything with them,
Got it.
but they have good plans, as we saw. So one thing they mentioned was that their production was affected by like high diesel prices, which I did not understand how, because since they are like manufacturing wagons, right? But in their annual report, they had said that like um, in the commodity prices section, they had said that high diesel prices affected them.
Hmm. I'm not sure how it could be, but then if they
Yeah,
also have a furnace, so they would need some, burning
true.
material, yeah, to melt materials and
Yeah,
all of those
true.
things.
That
That's what
did
I
not think of that.
expect. But I can also look into it. So this sheet is there in Notion, right? I can go through
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one
this is
entirely.
there. Yeah,
Okay, I'll go through this one.
yeah.
So that's all from my side. I mean, you can maybe Nirvan, you can ask the question. I mean, regarding the EBITDA, but
Yeah. No, I mean nothing in particular, Shantanu, but you can just check those numbers. I think the numbers are even worse than, in terms of
Okay.
conversion, because the averages you've shown us 0.5, but I think the averages are actually, much worse.
Okay.
So
I'll just recheck everything then.
the
This.
3-year average, if you just
Okay, the
select,
three.
yeah. Oh, okay. So these averages are calculated using the total sum for those 3 years. Okay, so total sum of the EBITDA for those 3 years divided by total sum of the total EBITDA. Okay, got it. So what happened is,
Yeah.
in the last 2 years they had good cash flow from operations, and yeah, okay. Fine. So it's calculated correctly.
all right.
Other than
Right. So
that,
Texmaco is the company, Shantanu, which has all these different JVs with European companies, right? With all
no,
those brake manufacturing companies, or that's some
no,
other
no.
company. That's
That,
Jupiter.
yeah, this one is Jupiter.
This one is Jupiter. So
This one
Jupiter
is
is the
Jupiter.
one.
Yeah.
Jupiter is the one which has all these
Yeah.
with Dana and some of these other companies, right?
Yeah, the Darko and Stone India.
Taco, correct,
Yeah,
correct,
and one was with Covis. That is also disc brakes.
correct. So
That is
two
also
East Europe
so they are making this kind of like their new revenue stream, the disc brakes.
disc brakes, right? And they are quite positive because I think
Yeah,
their disc brake factory has been inspected by the railways, and they
yeah,
have got a provisional go
approval.
ahead or something, right? That's
Yes,
what they had
they have
said,
gotten approval.
right? So yeah, the price has dropped quite a lot in the last few weeks, last couple of weeks. So maybe the
Ah,
market is expecting poor results. So let's see. So their counterparts have Texmaco and Titagarh have reported results. So you can
oh,
go through them, Shantanu. I have already gone through them.
okay, I'll do that.
And yeah, you can add whenever the con calls are done, you can add the con
Sure.
call details. It'll be interesting to discuss because I have some observations.
Hmm.
Once you get a chance to go through them, all three of us can discuss together on
Yeah,
how it is actually moving. Because Titagarh had promised a lot of things. Looks like it
yeah.
hasn't translated. So
Oh,
we'll have to see. I think tomorrow is the con call, so we'll have to see.
how
What's
they go. Yeah.
exactly happening. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
their PE Nirvan is ridiculous. I mean, so high. How? I
No,
mean,
actually, their P na hides some things. So you mean Titagarh, right?
yeah, Titagarh as
Yeah.
well as Texmaco. I mean, I've seen
Texmaco
Texmaco
is
since
high,
I was a
very.
child.
So actually, Gaurav,
Hmm.
so basically the market is just simply factoring in that the size of the order book. Okay.
Hmm.
So Titagarh has a huge order book, and you were asking Shantanu, right? In how many months they have to deliver. So
Hmm.
Titagarh has said by 2025 June they have to finish off all the wagon orders that they have from railways.
Hmm.
Okay. So it means if you multiply that 35 lakhs with that 35 lakhs is what they had said. If you multiply it by that number of wagon order that they won from the railways, some 20,000 or something. So it's a huge number. Okay, it's I think around 700 or 7,000 something like that crores.
Hmm.
So that number is what the market is factoring in, but and that's why it is looking optically high. But yeah, I mean, none of these companies are in a very comfortable zone in terms of taking a position right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is true.
Also, another thing, I mean, I mean, say for example, Titagar wagon, if they need to give so much order, will they make it in-house, or will they then kind of subcontract it to say Jupiter
No,
wagon,
no, no,
other
no, no, no.
places?
Titagar will make it completely in-house.
Okay, it'll be
Titagar will
interesting
make
to
it.
know. Then, then,
Yeah.
then, in the last few years, they should have actually built up capacity to do this, isn't it?
They have, I think, they have built up capacity. I think, Gaurav. So, I am not exact. That's a good question. Let's take a look at. Shantanu, can you share the screener page of Titagar?
Sure, sure. One second.
Let's just go there and look at investing. Yeah, they have, Gaurav. They have made huge investments in terms of fixed assets purchased.
Hmm.
They have. So just while Shantanu goes to the cash flow statement, so basically they had said that they have now acquired this technology of making aluminum wagons plus stainless steel wagons. Two types of different wagons for metro coaches as well as railway coaches.
Mm.
The passenger coaches, no?
Passenger coaches. Yeah,
Right.
Shantanu, if you remember
Yeah,
exactly what they are doing, then correct me. So I think something like that, right?
yeah. It was mentioned.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So if you look at if you just click the plus button on cash from investing activity, Shantanu. Yeah. So Gaurav, look at the last 4 5 years. Yeah. Look at the last year, 102 crores of assets purchased.
Yeah, but if I look at I mean, the numbers that you see, if you look at
Hmm.
2011, 2012,
Mhm.
2013, there they didn't have such a large order book, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So looking at the order book, isn't the number that you see, except for March, it looks like maintenance capex more to me.
Correct. So March 2022 could be the bump up capex.
Ah,
So if you look at 102 divided by their gross block, so their gross block at the end of March 2022 or net block was 966. Okay. So on a
966. Yeah.
966 basis, they invested 102. So that is about say 10 11%.
Hmm.
And let's take one of the earlier years, say 2012. So they invested 29 on a base of 254.
254.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the same. So
Same.
yeah, you're right actually, Gaurav. So it seems like capex is more or less. I mean, it's nothing out of trend.
Hmm.
But see, I haven't gone into this detail, but they are pretty comfortable and they are pretty clear of delivering this within timelines. So they had said that they were currently at a speed of 600 wagons per month, their top
Hmm.
speed,
Hmm.
and they wanted to scale it up to 750. Again, Shantanu, please correct me if I'm remembering wrong.
Huh.
So by this quarter, they had said that we'll move to 750 per month run rate.
Mm.
Right.
And so it means that capacity was well under their control. At 750 per run rate was actually delivering the 3-year target. So
Yeah. 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 From 2014 onwards, they have actually built up their capex. That's true. I mean, 2014,
right,
2016. 2016, there was a massive jump. 2015 to 2016. Wow, this was.
2015 to 2016. But I am seeing that 2015 is
Asset.
41 and 2016 is 22, right?
No, I'm looking at a balance sheet, fixed asset.
Oh, okay, okay,
If
okay,
you look over there, Shantanu, could you scroll up a little bit?
Yeah.
Um,
okay.
2015 to
Yeah, but
2016, they have got a lot of land. Okay, they have invested in a lot
they've
of land.
invested in land. Yeah, yeah.
And then their buildings also got a bump up. Plant and machinery actually not so much.
Yeah,
Look at the plant and machinery. I mean, that's not growing too much. Their lands are
yeah.
high.
That has grown only in the last year. Just take a look at
Yeah.
the 2022. So they've received the orders last year, so they've made capex for that. So that is clear. See, 50 crores they've grown by,
Mm-hmm.
and before that it was actually declining.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. So they bought land. They bought a lot of land.
Yeah,
So
that's I'll tell you, around Titagarh, there were a lot of industries, and
hmm,
I think in the last few years, a lot of these industries, I mean, they were shut down, defunct industry. They were from the British period. Okay,
hmm.
they are kind of. I mean, I've seen these places getting barricaded. Even the CSC plant has been barricaded now. That's also not operational. That's
I
also
see.
near in Titagarh and Kharda, in between that
Okay,
place.
okay.
Mm.
I see. So these guys, Titagarh had 3 different triggers. Okay, so one was they have a JV in Italy. So you're going to cover Titagarh, right, Shantanu?
Yeah.
So then let me not speak about it, Gaurav. I think
Okay,
when Shantanu does it, we'll do it together in that
great.
discussion.
So I
So
have a
was
clarity about this Jupiter wagon now. I mean,
yeah,
my next step would be to
One
go and read it.
one more thing I forgot to mention about Jupiter that I just read Abhi while
yeah,
scrolling. That one more thing was like most of these companies that are making wagons, they had a problem with the wheel sets mainly. Their production was hampered because of the unavailability of these wheel sets. So now in September, they had also like Jupiter had also like imported had placed an order to import 20,000 wheel sets. So like I think in the next quarter, like that is quarter three, if we see their results, I mean, no, sorry, presentation and con call, I think their production number must have increased by now because they'll have those access to those wheel sets.
right.
But will it come in 3 months? Such bulk
That
production.
wasn't mentioned, so I'm not really sure.
I'm
No,
not
but I
sure.
think in answer to one question, the question was, are wheel sets going to be a hindrance to your production? The answer was no,
Uh,
because we have already taken care via
yeah,
imports from China. So these wheel sets are actually manufactured by the railway wheel factories that are there in various places, including in Bangalore, Gaurav.
Hmm.
And whenever they can't cope up with the supplies, so some of these companies will de-risk it by importing from China. So,
Okay.
in answer to the question, they had said that that won't be a bottleneck.
Okay.
That we've already made plans for that. Yeah. So Jupiter, I think, what's the P? Yeah, it's at 62,
60.
but consolidated. Sorry, I was looking at the. Yeah, it's at 63. Yeah, Jupiter wagons is quite costly.
Yeah, because they just need one or two bad quarters, and I mean, there would be some derating that would happen.
Yeah, derating would definitely happen. See, they will not have sustained bad quarters because of the just the sheer force of orders that they have with them.
Hmm.
But so what right now the market is doing is discounting the entire order that they have received in one go,
Hmm.
But so you're right. I mean, there will be problems with their execution and stuff like that. For example, Titagarh, I just want to show you guys. So I'll just take control of the presentation for just
Yeah.
1 minute. Uh, Shantanu, you can resume after that. I'm just setting
Yeah.
up my screen. I just wanted to show you guys one chart of Titagarh wagon. It's trading in a channel, a long-term consolidation channel, and just wanted to share just a second. Yeah, can you guys see the trading view screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a weekly chart, and if you look at it, so this channel started around, say, just right after COVID. Okay,
Yeah.
and it's pretty much respecting this kind of channel. It's not, it hasn't broken the channel on the downside or on the upside. So it's pretty much on track. And there's a smaller channel also. So basically, I had set some alerts on my system just to tell you guys about. So my alert price was 182.
Uh,
Their current price is 214. At around 182 and all, which is like at the lower end of this channel. See this line, this
uh,
horizontal line is at 182. So at those prices, Gaurav, you can at least entertain the idea of thinking about a stock like this. Okay.
Hmm.
Because see, it will be strong for some time. I don't expect it to break down, this channel to break down till these orders are there,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Till the BJP government keeps focusing on capex and railways, and the entire story goes on. So maybe at the center of the channel, or see, buying near these levels is very good, near the support of the channel, but the stock
mhm.
probably won't come there. So anything below 182 is interesting as a maybe a technical kind of a bet, because you can then play till the
Mhm.
up cycle of the channel. The time to fundamentally catch it, Gaurav, and make supernormal returns is gone.
Yeah. You won't believe it, everyone. I actually explored this. I think in um, the mid of I mean around June, July of COVID. I was going through all these stocks that could be investable. So I was
Acha.
looking at it. I didn't have the
Mhm.
idea. I thought like this was I mean government company. I anyways lost money in PNB, so I was like
Right.
not very happy with it. But
Right.
I mean, I was aware that there were a lot of infrastructure happening in the railway, but I could not kind of convert it into these ideas, investment ideas. So while I was
Right.
preparing for my, I mean, I was again preparing for civils once
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you get a hint every time. I mean, I've seen that policy hint really comes from these civils
Yeah.
topics
Right.
much earlier. I mean, 1 to 2 years earlier, actually.
Agreed. Agreed. Agreed.
Mm,
100%. So they take time to materialize because the government works slowly. But I
mm,
think people who catch those themes and sit now, they have got this kind of return. So now at this point of time, and Shantanu, also for your benefit, just to understand, how the research translates to actionable insight. So these kind of stocks are now probably only a technical play, Gaurav. So like if you
mm.
can buy something at the lower end of the channel and then wait for it to hit the upper end, etc., that's the kind of play. Yeah.
Also, I think now it would probably start going sideways. Probably. I'm not
Could
sure though.
be,
Yeah.
could be. So it's actually not that complicated. So what, Shantanu, what you can do,
Huh.
it will be good for you also. It will be good for us also. That con call had mentioned per wagon what is the kind of realization, right? So just check what is the order that they received and just
Yeah.
multiply it using that per wagon realization and split it across 3 years and just try to see like what kind of revenue, and there are some other segments like shipbuilding is another segment for them.
Yeah.
So if you can just do a kind of a projection, you can easily see, like Gaurav, we can see in terms of FY24 expected earnings, what is the P
Mm,
ratio, or
mm.
FY25 expected earnings, what is the P ratio? If FY25 expected earnings P ratio is also say 30, okay,
Mm,
then there's no point looking at this fundamentally at all because the steady state valuation of a company like this cannot be 30. It will
mm.
be much less than that because it is only a cyclical kind of a play,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Also,
So
this entire need of say capex for railway, that I mean that cycle will end in 2025. But what is the replacement rate of this wagons? They are not very high. I mean,
no, they are
these are
not
very,
very high.
so
They're not
then
very.
they suddenly go into a glut, isn't it? I mean, they have a lot of machinery, land, and all of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
things. So the investors would probably not get out at 2025. They'll probably start getting out at 2024, or
Yeah,
probably they are
so
actually getting out right now.
no, so I don't think that 2025 may necessarily be the end of it, Gaurav.
Hmm,
So see 2025 they will keep executing for the orders that they've received now. Okay,
hmm,
now means budget of last year. Now this year has allocated an even larger budget for railways, which
correct.
means they'll get even bigger orders now. So this trend might continue for 5-6 years.
Hmm,
Okay,
hmm.
of but how many of us will have the patience to play Titagarh wagons for 4 years? That's the question to be asked.
True. But Nivan, one thing, when infrastructure budget is put in railways, also keep
Hmm.
in mind it's not just these wagons or the wheels, because you see the number of lines and the number of wagons they get. There's a limit to that. It's also the acquiring of these lands and all of those things. They comprise the larger portion of it, where
Yeah,
they have
but
to do
but like
acquisition.
they've actually called it out, I think, Gaurav. If you go
I
through
did
the
not
budget
see.
notes,
I will
yeah, so
see
there
it
are
once.
about 8-10 different segments. I'll share a document with you.
Okay.
This I think Kedar had shared on Twitter, or no, Abhishek Basu Malik had shared on Twitter. So the budget notes, they call out 10-12 items with respect to railways,
Hmm.
and I think they call it out, in terms of wagons, etc. So there
Okay.
is significant allocation to wagons also. You're right. There's a lot of other things will happen, but I think in this budget cycle also wagons continues to still be a theme. So
Hmm.
suppose Titagarh bags a large order. So another 1 more year, the sliding window moves 1 more year, right? So they
Hmm.
they,
Hmm.
they get another 3 years of leeway. Plus the interim 2 years can now probably increase more in terms of revenue, right? So they already had an order of say 7,000 wagons per year. Now if they bag 3-4,000 more per year, so the number of wagons per year will also go up. So I think Gaurav,
I,
nothing clear cut jumps out as an investment idea,
hmm.
but if we can sit and do the math in terms of the what information we have, we can sort of satisfy ourselves ki, with a 3 year view, is it investable or not?
Correct. Now, for me, it's also. I mean, I'm looking at it from a study point of view. I'm really interested to see how. I mean, if what the government is committing, how much is it translating into, real
Right.
actionable items. So that's also
Right.
good for me.
Yeah. So the estimate is that because this is a pre-election year,
Hmm.
this year capex will be in full swing.
Full
That
swing,
has
yeah.
been the trend in past election years.
Acha, one question, Shantanu. Titagarh Wagon has their plant only in Titagarh only, right? Nowhere else, or do they have other places also? They've got, I mean, like UP and all.
Titagarh. Just give me a second. I'll
No,
open
they
it.
okay. They have in Rajasthan, right? They have
Okay,
in one in
Yeah.
right.
Bharatpur.
Bharatpur, Rajasthan. Yeah. Okay, good, good. I think this is very interesting,
Yeah.
right?
So I'll stop sharing. So this was the first company, is it, Gaurav? You were looking at
Yeah,
Jupiter is the first company you
Jupiter
were
and
looking at.
then Titagarh, but the
Yeah.
discussion went a little longer.
Yeah. The discussion went into Titagarh. Sorry about that.
No,
Hmm.
that's okay. That's okay. I mean, so even if we complete these things into 3-4 sessions, I'm okay with it. For me,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll try to take Shantanu's time because he has worked on 8 companies. So even if it is say 45 minutes per company, that's also good with me,
Yeah.
right? So Shantanu, do you want to continue today, or maybe we can have another session sometimes else later?
If
We
we
can have a
could
session,
do
both of us. I mean, and I'll make a recording, and also I'll inform Nirvan, so
Yeah.
that way he can join if he has time, or I'll put these videos in our YouTube channel, which is unlisted, so nobody gets to see it though.
yeah,
But
sure.
we can I mean, later on analyze these things. Everybody can see it and also understand, because the amount of research that you're doing, that's gold.
Yep.
All right.
So, Gaurav, do you think if you have 10 minutes, should Shantanu, because we have already discussed Titagarh so much,
Hmm.
if he has additional insights on Titagarh, shall we discuss that for
Yeah,
10
please,
minutes?
please, please. Yes, please.
Shantanu, if you think
Titagarh?
you're ready with some insights
Uh,
on Titagarh, so we
Titagarh,
can.
actually, I was ready with Texmaco and Pitti today,
Oh,
and
acha.
RVNL.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Titagarh, I'll have to go because there's a lot of good info there. So once
Right.
again, I'll just go through Titagarh, and maybe tomorrow we could do Titagarh.
No problem. I am a little greedy though, so I want to hear a little bit of Pitti right now because Pitti is
Okay.
something I
But
haven't
yeah,
looked at.
because we could do Pitti then now.
Let's do
Yeah.
Petty.
Okay.
Because I think it's an ancillary and it's
Yeah.
interesting. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they do something which is not at all related with these other
right.
companies.
So
And
go ahead.
just
Okay.
give me a second. I'll just find the other.
It
Yeah,
doesn't also seem too expensive. I mean, moderately
yeah,
expensive.
right. No, I think Pitti is possibly still a play. I mean, I haven't looked at the historical valuations and all that,
Yeah.
but
Just
you know, the median PE is very bad, Gaurav. I mean, it's
Mm,
hmm.
in terms of not so much actually. Okay, last 5 years it's okay.
The last 10
Five,
years, it's just on the average.
yeah, 10 years it's fine actually. It's
5 years,
17.7 and right now it's 18.6. So
3 years also, it's more or less okay.
yeah.
1 year is okay.
So 3 years is probably, the same environment. So the way I
Mm,
think about it, Gaurav, is that 3 year may be the current environment itself. So
mm,
if I have to compare with a different environment about the stock, then I look at a little longer horizon. So
yeah.
like 5 year, 10 year. But still it sounds interesting because it's not more than 10% expensive. Yeah. Anyway, let Shantanu take us through the company.
Let me just find if they have a product portfolio. It would have been easier to explain. Okay, so I'll just start anyways. So Pitti Engineering, they are into lamination, poles, assemblies, and castings, and all these small components. So for the railways, if we see what they do is they supply stators and rotors, which basically go into the induction motor for these railways that help them with traction.
Mm.
So this is what they do for the railways basically. And now if let me just check if they have anything mentioned about it here.
So
Yeah.
they
So
have,
Shantanu, Uh,
Speak.
so, so,
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, Gaurav, just one point. I mean, it is to you also and Shantanu also.
Yeah.
So, as a complete layman, okay, who also doesn't have a strong mechanical or electrical background, these terms are like I don't know, like
Please
chemical
explain it
compound
to me.
names to me.
I
So
can
I
explain this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Should I?
yeah,
exactly.
I'm
But
trying to read
you
about it.
you should Gaurav. I would like to hear that. But Shantanu, so like feedback for you whenever you're presenting a company, okay, treat the audience as completely ignorant, yeah,
Sure.
and try to have a couple of slides on what the products actually do and where they are
Yeah.
used. Yeah, Gaurav, please.
So basically, these rotors and stators, they go into your induction motor. Like, you know how induction motors work. You have any
Yeah,
memory of it from?
ye- a little bit. I mean, they use, I think, a magnetic field to
Correct,
trigger
correct, correct.
electric current, right?
So you have your AC current, right? Your AC
Yeah,
current, with the one that comes from your sockets, that
yeah,
come in through a wire, and then they kind of power up a magnet, right?
right.
Now what you have is you have a magnetic case, and then there is something which is in between. Maybe I could have drawn it and shown you, but imagine a circular, a concentric circle, two concentric circles, right?
Right.
The outer circle has the magnet, and the inner circle has a rotor, right?
Okay.
So the outer
Hmm.
thing is called a stator because it's static, and the inner one is
Right.
the rotor.
Okay.
The outer one will have the magnetic force, which will turn the inner one, which is the rotor, which will in turn generate motive power. So it will create circular motion.
Okay.
So that's the thing. And that the interesting thing about this application is, this is not just used in railways. Railways is one of the largest. I mean, they use very large motors, right? If you look at these electric, trains, you will see one bogie, two bogies actually. Almost two-third of the bogie is these rotors, which power up these, lines. So they are very
Okay.
large components. What is also interesting when Shantanu was explaining is that their application towards EV. So
Hmm.
EV and pump and all of those things. So yeah,
So it's called traction motor, is it the
yeah,
product?
traction motor. Yes.
Traction motor. So what is happening essentially is that electrical energy, AC current is getting converted into mechanical energy,
Yeah, exactly. In rotating energy, rotation.
into rotational energy. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
That is exactly what even Sona Comstar does.
Sona Comstar does. Okay.
Mm.
And traction motors, I believe, Gaurav, are low level technology, right? Like it's well penetrated, well established, very old
Well
technology.
understood. Yes.
Well
So
understood.
yeah. So for a railway, it's not a very headache because they have their power lines on top. All they have
Okay.
to do, they can I mean, draw in power from the top line, and then they can run it. So
Right.
heat requirement, efficiency, these are nonsense for them. Okay, they don't really care
Okay.
about it. But when it comes to EVs,
Hmm.
this is very important.
Right.
The
Right.
size is important, the shape is important, because as you miniaturize these products, the design criteria, the choice of material becomes more and more complex, and
Right.
that is where I think Sona Comstar will always have an edge compared to these guys.
Got it.
Yeah, they use
Got it.
such large rotors or such large motors that they are not into this precision manufacturing sort of work.
Got it. Got it.
Mm.
Understood. Understood. So Shantanu, what products did you say they make? Stators and rotors, is it?
Yeah, starters and rotors.
And lamination, what lamination?
Lamination, as in they
Um,
make those poles, वगैरह.
Poles,
And
mane poles are also a part of those stator. So stator will have three poles.
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
These poles are basically those magnetic poles. They will also
Hmm.
put in laminate on top of those poles. You might have heard it in transformers. Transformers have some laminates which
I know
separate.
only oils in transformers there.
So there's also laminates in transformers. So these
Okay.
each laminates actually act as inductors,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
there is
Okay.
oil which acts as dielectric. Okay, too
Right.
much science. But maybe I
Yeah.
can take you guys through this one someday
Yeah, this
if
will
you
be
want.
useful because it has not only applications in the power sector, Gaurav, but
Mm,
see, once we understand this, I can have a picture of what's going on in the power sector, what's going on in EVs, what's going on in railways. So
mhm.
I would love to have a session with you on these basics of physics. I've
This
forgotten everything.
this motor topic is very interesting for me, and there's no play for me right now. I mean, Sona Comstar is there; it's very expensive, but
Right.
motor is. I mean, motor will be used everywhere.
I was actually listening to Sona Comstar con call, Gaurav. So they were not very excited about traction motors. They said that our market share there is now stable and we don't expect to grow the market share very aggressively.
Hmm.
They are more aggressive on things like,
Synchronous
differential gear.
motor.
Yeah, differential gears and more electronic heavy components.
Okay, I'll
Seems
I'll
like.
go through their con call. I mean, I didn't get time
Yeah.
to go through. But these traction motor, even if you see the Nexon, right? Nexon has a traction induction motor, because induction motors do make sense when you want to make a low cost EV, because they are extremely rugged. And induction motor does not only have application in EV, it has application everywhere, even in your pumps.
Okay.
You know, those water pumps that you have, there also you use induction motors.
Okay.
Like
So
Crompton
these,
Reeves make it.
I see, I see. So these motors, the traction motors, are the ones which give power to the wheels, is it, in an EV?
Correct.
Okay. And in a ICE car also you have traction motors?
No, you don't have it. There you
You
have the
don't have.
engine
There you
itself.
have the engine itself. Right, right. So
Uh,
okay, got it, got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so those lamination were like, yeah, steel ones, the disc looking kind of laminations that go
Okay,
into
I will
motors.
read up. I will read
Yeah.
up.
I'll give a
Um,
session on this one. No problem.
Sure, sure.
yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, if you see even Pity, like their revenue has been increasing. If you see the one year growth has been 84%. In between, I think here from 622 to 525, they did not get as much orders because COVID, etc. And then their 3 year CAGR has been 15%, 5 years 27%. Gross margin is pretty high, 26% right now. They have been ranging from 25 to 30%. And then if we see EBITDA growth and both PAT growth, they're doing well. They're both increasing. It's not like EBITDA is growing, but PAT is not increasing. That which we can like confirm. We can see that. 1 second. By plotting the graph for from 2017 to 2022 of the EBITDA, depreciation, and interest expense. So if we see EBITDA is growing at a higher rate than depreciation and the interest rate. And
So
then,
this is great. So Shantanu, may I suggest something? You have
yeah,
right now graphed this using the actual crore figures, right?
yeah,
I would suggest you, Shantanu, to make it really
percentage basis.
powerful. Exactly. Just common
Okay.
size it. Just
Okay.
divide it by the size of the balance sheet,
Yeah.
or sorry, the size of the revenue, so that in percentage terms you have all these three figures. That will become a really powerful graph. So
Okay. I'll change that. Yes.
yeah, you can change that. And in
Thank you.
fact, when you analyze companies along with the data sheet the format that you use,
Huh.
you can actually explain using these graphs, because see,
Okay.
the story that graphs tell, only numbers won't be able to tell as well. So
True.
feel free. I mean, just because I've
Okay.
given one format doesn't mean that you have to stick to it. Yeah.
Understood. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Uh, Next, we have debt. Their debt equity ratio is pretty. It's fine. I mean, like 1.38, and then FL ratio is it's more on the higher end when you see. I could not find many peers to it. Like I found one which was Kenna Metal India that do the same thing. The stators, rotors, and stators, and then if you see the net fixed turnover ratio, they have a ratio of 2.9, while Kenna Metal has a ratio of 3.4, and then asset turnover ratio 2, they have a ratio of 1, and Kenna Metal has a ratio of 1.25. So I couldn't really calculate an average for the industry, but
That's okay. So, Shantanu, if you have only one peer, you can compare against that one peer also. That's fine.
yeah, because everywhere else I was trying to look, they are all large scale businesses which only have one small part doing this same thing. So
Right,
whereas Pity is entirely focused on starters and rotors.
right.
Uh, and then their ROE and ROC I think is pretty good, 18.3% and 17.9%. And then if when we come into the cash flow, again CFO by EBITDA, it is less than 1. So even they are not successfully able to like convert
So,
their,
so one comment here, Shantanu.
yeah.
So, see, CFO by EBITDA will mostly be less than one, okay?
Okay.
Or it will be the best companies that you will see will generally be at 1.11, something like that.
Okay.
So, even if it's less than 1, you shouldn't really say that it's bad. See, anything above because remember one thing, in CFO, you remove taxes. Okay. So you calculate the cash flow from operations after removing the taxes paid. But in EBITDA, you don't remove taxes. Yeah.
Hmm.
So taxes are straight away 25%, right?
Yes.
So even if your CFO by EBITDA is 0.75, you should be reasonably happy with it. Okay.
Yeah.
So anything above 0.5, 0.75, I actually treat it as good conversion. Yeah. And
Okay.
that's why I have these 3-year, 5-year averages to just see that, over a longer horizon. See, in 1 year, your CFO can go wrong because you were building inventory or your receivables got stretched.
Yeah.
So that's why I have this entire row. Yeah. So that you can form a whole picture by looking at the last 5 years of data. So anything above 0.75, Shantanu, actually you should be decently happy with it. CFO by PAT should definitely be more than 1. Yeah. If that is also not converting, if PAT is also not converting into CFO, that's an issue.
Oh, yeah.
Nirvan, one question over here.
Yeah.
So based on industry, right?
Yeah.
The CFO upon EBITDA, are there some benchmark, like say IT industries would have something, and heavy machinery industry would have
So
something?
Gaurav, I think there are no ready-made benchmarks, but we can make those benchmarks. Yeah.
Got it.
So we can make those benchmarks. And as you're absolutely right in pointing out, every industry will have its own kind of benchmark. So we
Also,
can create them. Yeah, go ahead.
okay, that was one. And second thing was Kennametal wouldn't be a good comparison of this because Kennametal is into these machining solution. I think they're one of the only proxies towards these, cutting solutions and all. You when you do all this machining, now you need these tools. They are called they're very hard substances where you turn your metal, which is in cylindrical shape, and then you give shape to them, like turning. It's called a turning process. So those kind of applications. So it's a bit different from what these guys do. Kennametal is a great company. I mean, people have got it. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Please continue.
Yeah. Thank you. Then, yeah, days of working capital, the correct figure is 111, and they have a good dividend payout ratio of 12.51%. Their interest coverage ratio is not above 4 though, it's 3.35, and promoter holding is also
So
around
just to interrupt one, Shantanu. So when
Yeah.
you say debt to equity ratio is okay, yeah,
Yeah.
the way to check whether it is okay or not is actually one of the things is interest coverage ratio.
Okay.
Right. So you actually said two contradictory things. At the start, you said that debt to equity ratio is good enough, but now you're saying interest coverage ratio is falling short. So I just want to bring your attention to that. Yeah. So
Thank you.
how do you know that debt to equity ratio is okay or not? A company can have a debt to equity ratio of two also, but if its EBITDA interest coverage ratio is 5, then it's fine. Right. Because serviceability of interest, it generates such strong cash flows or EBITDA that it is able to even service that kind of debt burden, right? So yeah, so remember that these two are connected. So once you look at debt to equity, the way to judge whether it is sustainable debt or whether it is overburdened is actually to look at the servicing ratio, which is the interest coverage ratio.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, this is very good. I'll note it down.
Same. Then the promoter holding is 60%, and around 20% is pledged. The credit rating is in A minus, but they have given them they have revised their rating to positive, as in they are successfully paying them back. Whereas in some cases, like when they've given like A negative, I think in the case of Texmaco itself, they've given them a negative rating because most of their funds are like locked in receivables that they're yet to receive. Then yeah, and then we move to the valuation ratios. So valuation ratios, yeah, I'd say the company is slightly overvalued. If you see the median values and the current P ratio, even with price to book and price to sales and the enterprise to EBITDA ratio, all the values tell us that it is slightly overvalued, but yeah, not as much as the other companies. Well, next yes.
Yeah, no, fair enough, Shantanu. I mean, in terms of where the company is financially, I get a picture. Now, do you have anything on like what the, yeah, you have this,
Yeah.
right? So
So
this
yeah.
is
So like I think someone said, you said something about EVs. They have like bagged two orders in Maharashtra for like two-wheelers in their September quarter, and then also received orders from companies called Alstom and Bombardier for again I think their stators and rotors, and yeah. And then if you see their revenue and all these margins, they have also been improving, and the management says they will continue to improve because they expect what happened was initially raw material prices were higher, and now they expect it to lower. So their profit margins also will be higher now. That's what they say. And mm, okay, So yeah, this was actually related to a facility that they were like actually constructing. So they had mentioned in one of their con call transcripts that the construction will be done, but then it was delayed. And so someone had asked a question why it was delayed, basically. But they basically said the monsoons had delayed their work. And I could not find anything else in the con call that was really
So,
noteworthy.
so Shantanu, is this an exciting company to look at in terms of can this company deliver good returns on the current price? Like, do you have any view on that in terms of like
Uh,
what's going to, yeah.
as of now, I'd say no, because as I read through their con call, I could not really see anything interesting or different they are doing right now. As in, they are using their same revenue and business model, uh, and continuing with the same business.
So how many con calls did you listen to, Shantanu? Two, is it?
Three actually.
Three. Okay. So you could not spot
Three,
any
two,
kind
and one.
okay, one, Q1, 2, and 3, is it?
Huh.
Okay. So you could not spot any triggers as such, which
Yeah,
order
no
triggers.
large triggers as such, as in all are a part of their business.
Okay. So it's business as usual there. I mean, no
Yeah,
positive triggers like any exciting orders that they have bid for, they're waiting for the result, or any new product line coming in which is much higher margin,
one which
or
was this was the EV one, which
Mhm.
I think they're slightly now going into,
Okay.
trying to
Different
transition into it.
folks in Maharashtra for two-wheelers. So
Yeah,
like have they revealed the
no,
brands?
no, that's why I couldn't.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
I think Nirvan, here they are not selling the entire motor, but probably parts of the motor, which then gets. I mean, somebody would use a motor control unit and
Okay.
stuff like
Okay.
that. For me, this company is interesting because it's cheap. It has good connection. It has some order book, and
Mhm.
if they, I mean, since we have also discovered lithium, so it's. I mean, if the story is as good as what is going on in social media, we are going to
Mm.
see like a massive transformational shift in India,
Yeah.
especially on the EV story.
Right.
So expect everything to get converted to EV, I guess.
Right. Right. Right.
What I missed this. They also got bagged orders from Toshiba and Siemens for their rotor.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so which
Even
is
for wind
big
generators.
companies. So
Mhm. So
yeah,
where are these rotor stators and where are they used, Gaurav? So anywhere that needs to convert electricity to rotational motion, is it?
And also opposite, where you need generators. So for example,
Okay.
you have windmill, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Hmm.
imagine you have mechanical energy. This
Yeah.
mechanical energy would get converted to electrical energy because in the windmill, you
So
get that.
so even in hydroelectric
Yeah,
dams and
yeah.
all, you will
Yes,
have.
yes, yes, yes. They have very large ones.
So all turbine companies will, wherever they supply, they will automatically also need these rotors and stators.
Correct, correct. I'm not sure. Yeah, because they also have a generator, and see, in a turbine company also, you would have these kind of induction. I mean, I mean,
Yeah.
it would be like an opposite to a induction motor. the
Right.
generators, because
Right.
you're generating three-phase current through that.
Correct. So, I mean, I don't think, I am not sure if you would know this already, but a company like, say, Triveni Turbine
Right.
or power companies like that,
Hmm.
they would probably be buying from somebody like a Pitti, or maybe they have the capability to make on their own. Possible.
They would not make these things on their own, because you see, say for example, a power company. I don't know about Triveni Turbine.
Mm-hmm.
But what they would do is probably their focus is on the turbine part. Now, the turbine is also a very complex system,
Okay.
because they have this angle at which the gas or the water should come and hit and all. So that would be their core focus. What
Right.
they would do is they would have an RPM. I mean, at a speed at which these turbines would rotate. This
Right.
rotation would then get converted to electricity. Now, that part I think would be owned by guys like Siemens and all, and also these
Okay.
guys. I mean, Pitti is making the not the I mean, they are making the stator and the rotor, so the mechanical part of it.
Right.
Somebody takes from Pitti and then puts in copper wiring on top of it. Okay, so
Okay.
somebody else would then, they would integrate it to a system, so something
Got
like
it.
that.
So,
Yeah.
so as part of a motor assembly or
Hmm.
as part of a Ulta, the generator assembly,
Hmm.
do you think they're doing low value work or they're doing high value add work?
Depends. It's very hard to say. I have to go a little deeper, because the
Hmm.
materials that you use, right, for your rotor and
Hmm.
stator, they are special material. They
Okay.
need to be resistant towards many things. I mean, fatigue, failure, etc. Because
Hmm.
if
Hmm,
they
hmm,
fail,
hmm.
the entire system will fail, right?
Okay.
So if you
Okay.
look at that point of view, I mean, they have some high value, and it should also come up in the gross margin actually of the company. If
Okay.
they are doing
Hmm.
high value, they should get like 15. I mean, I think good.
They have 25% gross margin, so not very
Right.
high. So
Yeah.
so maybe the material, is just a pass through for them, Gaurav. So
Possibly.
maybe they are getting the material from these large maybe metal companies, and they are
Yeah.
it's just a pass through for them. They don't earn any incremental margin on it. Maybe.
Correct. Also, these technologies are so old. I mean, these are very old technologies, and there's
Yeah,
nothing else to know about them.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
especially when these are large equipments,
Hmm.
there's no concern about design and all of those things, because they have ample space. So if you look at a
Got it.
hydroelectric plant, they would have a huge room. I mean, they don't really care about these chota what do you call it,
Got it. Got it.
precision. Yeah.
Got
So
it. So the exciting opportunity for Pitti would be if they can break into EV, is it?
Yeah,
correct,
and
correct,
besides
correct,
that,
correct.
one more thing that they're also supplying like components to electric buses in South India.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
they are
So
trying to get into that segment too.
okay. 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 Interesting.
But
So
while they are also like sustaining their main business, because that contract with this Alstom and Bombardier
Bombardier.
company, that is a 10-year fixed contract.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they're keeping their main business, and I think now slightly they're understanding that they need to move into other segments too.
Is Siemens a customer, Shantanu?
Yeah, Siemens and Toshiba.
They
ABB.
are customers.
Yeah,
ABB.
sorry.
ABB.
No.
No. Okay.
So Siemens recently won a huge locomotive contract from the railways, 30,000 or
Mm.
40,000 locomotives. Pitti, if they are their supplier,
Oh,
then
ABB
Pitti will.
is actually, sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
Hmm.
ABB is there. Yeah, Siemens is also there.
So.
So we need to, I think, Gaurav, map out that who are the other rotor and these kind of players in this market. You know,
Mm.
Hmm.
if Pitti is the one who is the up and coming guy, then there might be just the only trigger of gaining more market share. Or something like that. Or if it's a stable one, we can probably not get too excited about it. Like if
Can
there
we,
are, yeah,
Nivan? Can we write to Pitti and ask them? I mean, to
we
their
can,
investor
but
cell. To the,
that kind of question is treated as amateurish, Gaurav, and then you may not get a
right.
lot of good response from them. This is
Right.
not something that will take a lot of time. If
Hmm.
Shantanu can
Mm.
also spend some quality time digging into motors and rotors and what is the other term, Gaurav?
Stator.
The
Status.
status, yeah. So that you will, Shantanu, you will be able to understand. See, my hypothesis is either the Siemenses of the world or these big companies which are into heavy electrical and electromechanical systems, either they make it on their own, or there are other pitties, listed pitties out there in the world.
Mm.
So maybe spend some time in trying to map out the supply chain, Shantanu. So
Yeah.
one big question to answer is of stators and rotors for different applications. So if you can note down, Shantanu,
Yeah.
like one of the things would be which all industries, and Gaurav, please correct me and add wherever you think is necessary.
Mhm.
So which are the industries or applications where their products will go? Okay, that is number one. And in each of those industries, who are the largest buyers? So it could be railways, it could be Siemens, it could be Bombardier, it could be
Mm.
Alstom. So who are the buyers? And the third would be like mapping out, apart from Pitti, who else is competing in this? So who is supplying to these buyers? Are they
Okay.
making it on their own, or are they actually, sourcing it from the market? Is it an unlisted company that rules the roost here? So
Mm.
who rules the roost for motors and rotors and stators in India?
Okay.
Yeah.
And for the EV segment especially, so for the first part of the question, you can
Mm.
write a small segment in the first part, especially for EV, which Gaurav says is the most exciting and also technically the most difficult. Can we find out who is see the motor is being done by somebody like say a Sona Comstar. So can we find out who is supplying those motor parts to them, the stator rotor kind of thing? So
Okay.
I think Gaurav can guide you here. It's specifically related to EV. If he can point you towards other resources where you can get this info from. I think this would be a useful exercise, Gaurav. What do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think so too. I mean, if we could find a good company who has some, what do you call it, some tailwind from railways, and then they also expand towards, say, EVs, that would be a very good Jacob sort of a
You
thing.
know, another thing, Gaurav, actually,
Mm,
see, these ABB, Siemens, they are also that capital goods cycle that
mm.
some companies, some fund managers are extremely excited about.
Bullish about, yeah.
These are the giants in that space, ABB, Siemens, and all of them,
Mm,
right? And
yeah,
all of them require electromechanical systems like this.
yes, yes. And they mostly kind of outsource these activities. They don't do it in house. They keep the
Exactly,
R&D in house.
exactly, exactly. So is these kind of basic parts also part of the stable, or is that does that come from suppliers like Pitti? So
My point of view would be they come from supplier. These are not that great parts.
correct.
Yeah. So, but what would be great is if Pitti could not just sell to them but also sell to others. Yeah.
Others would be like
Like, say for example, right now you have ABB and GE, but then next you'll see even Sona Comstar over here, maybe, and I
right,
mean, the all the other application players, especially in the rotor space, because the amount of rotor will multiply many-fold. There is one industry cycle, there's one capex cycle, there's one
right,
automotive cycle. Those multiple cycles are moving, and one of
absolutely.
the common thing in that is rotors. Okay, my
Rotor.
kid is crying. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll just put it on mute.
Sure, sure, sure. So, Shantanu, then maybe,
Yeah.
these three, four questions would be something you can spend some time on and maybe put them together in a PPT when you
Huh.
have the answers of, what are the industries, who are the largest players, and who are the suppliers, the key suppliers. That will be very interesting for us to see, Shantanu.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Shantanu, could you also post these questions in the group? I'll also
Yeah,
try
I'll
to
do
step
that.
into it.
Yes.
Or yeah,
So,
maybe in the group or just add it as a task in the planner,
hmm. Just add as a
whatever.
task. Also tag me into that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll
me
also
also.
go through it because you're anyways working on the NBFC topic, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's not get distracted. I'll try to do a first level of research on this one.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you think, Nirvan? Do
Yeah,
we?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That way.
I think, Shantanu, park the questions. You don't
Huh.
need to immediately get into it. See, the first priority is between you and Pranav to complete those 10 NBFCs, the top
Huh.
10.
Hmm.
After that, you can go slow on NBFC, maybe pick up Pitti for some time, but those top 10 need to be the first priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nirvan, I'll try to get another person who could. I mean, maybe supplement Shantanu on the NBFC topic.
Sure,
So
sure.
the idea would be, Shantanu, you will review that person's work and he will do it for you, sort of. And then you
Yeah.
can kind of do 50-50. I mean, 50% time on
Yeah.
NBFC and 50% time on trying to find these information.
Okay.
That would
Anyways,
be
I
good.
think I'll finish the NBFC tasks by 20th. I think there is
Okay.
total 26.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
me and Pranav, we had divided 13, alternate ones.
Right,
Mm.
right.
So I plan on finishing all my 13 by 20th because I think on not I think I have exams on 21st and 22nd.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So I'll be free on 23rd again though.
Okay,
Okay.
sure, Chandru. So I would say, let Pranav continue with all 13. After you complete your five, maybe if possible for you, if it's not like I understand NBFC work is more mechanical because once you understand it, it's easy
Yeah.
for you to execute. If time permits, you can spend a little bit of time on answering maybe one
Yeah,
day on
sure.
these petty questions,
Yes,
then
yes.
go back to NBFC and take it up again after 23rd.
We'll do that, yes.
Cool.
All right.
ठीक है.
Okay, then
So yeah,
we can then close for today, I
yeah,
guess,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, we can.
And we'll have another session, Shantanu. Thank you so much for the
Sure.
presentation. It was lovely.
Thank you
Right.
so much.
It was Shantanu. And just one
Thank you
question.
for all the
Uh,
information.
which like you presented today, Jupiter, and we discussed Titagarh a little in Pitti, right?
Yeah.
So if you had to choose like exciting companies to present out of what you've researched, like maybe two more companies the next time we meet,
Hmm.
which two would that be?
Uh, Out of these three or the other
No,
one?
out of all the other ones in railways, like maybe you can count it Titagarh also because you said there's a lot of info. So
Yeah,
one
yeah,
company can be Titagarh,
yeah.
and which other would you want to?
Other one could be either GPT Infra or GR Infra.
No, not GR. GR is
Okay,
mostly
sorry, not GR, sorry, Frontier Springs, my bad.
Frontier Springs will be interesting.
But the Frontier Springs only issue is they don't do com calls.
I
So
know, I know, I know. So your research has to be based on internet plus annual reports,
yeah,
I think. So
all
then
other ones like there's rights and all, but they are like not they're established businesses.
yeah,
So
they're like RVNL. So
yeah,
let's let it be. So
there's one more Oriental Rail.
right, right.
That one also could be there.
So maybe pick two, Shantanu, the two out of these four names you took, the two most value add ones you pick, and maybe the next schedule, you mentioned specifically that the session will be for those two companies and which
Okay,
date we'll have that session on.
sure, I'll do that.
Okay. So I think Gaurav, we can have a more targeted discussion on that day for only those two companies. Yeah.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
Shantanu, for the wonderful
thank you.
presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Bye.
Shantanu. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye, Shantanu.
Bye.
Bye,
Good
Gaurav.
night.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye bye. Take care. Yeah.